You sure look good tonight. Yeah, come on with Big Daddy. Hey, what's up, everybody? It's your boy, Johnny Gill. I don't have to tell y'all, a.k.a. Better known as Little Baby Jesus in the house. And you're listening to my boy, or we are here kicking it with me and my boy, Bryant Scott on Fast Break.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. We're back.
Yes, sir.
Another edition of Bryant Scott's Fast Break. I'm Kid J. Since we have a music guest in the building, that's Mr. Notes and Strokes over there, Byron Scott. My man from D.C.
Yes,
is
sir.
in the building. Incredible career, solo, New Edition, LSG, Head of State. Johnny Gill is in the building. JG.
A man with 1,000 jobs.
All right, I'm going to ask you one question because back in the day, Head of State, when you guys announced that's you, Bobby Brown, and Ralph, right?
Yeah.
Whatever happened? Why? How come you guys couldn't release something? And do you have unreleased music?
No, we never released anything. It was crazy because it was, the six of us, we had, 42 years.
Yeah.
We've had some great times. We've had some, internal issues as, what family goes through, its ups and downs and all that stuff. And at that point in time, I used to call it the Republicans against the Democrats. It was three over here and it was three of us over here. And so we would always be going at it. And that was during the time where, we just started, we were off for a while. So we had, and I remember Bobby and Ralph wasn't really doing much of anything. I've been working probably the most out of everyone that's constantly all year round. And part of my thing is when the phone rings, I never say hello. I just go, I'll take it.
My man is working.
You're never looking at me going, I've learned one thing. If my 42 years of doing this is, I don't care how you chop it up. I don't care how long you've done this. At some point, one day there'll no longer be. So I never get to a point to start to just get so content and take it for granted. I'm like, listen, we're rocking, keep it moving while you can. It's a blessing.
Johnny, I want to ask you this because you had a solo career that was just off the chain. That first damn album, every time I played a record, I was saying, God dang.
The best.
The next one, dang. I was like, man, that first album you laid out was so great. And then obviously with New Edition and your second group, LSG, when did you know that you had pretty much solidified yourself in that music industry?
Well, even when I got into the business and signed a record deal, I forgot. Nobody ever told me that, it's a possibility you could fail, right? I had no idea. All I knew is I got a record deal, which was huge, and that means, you're going to be a star. So I didn't know my first record, Ship Platinum Came Back Wood. I had no idea that it was like it didn't sell that well. I just was thinking, okay, I'm in the business and things was going. I never paid much of attention to any of that stuff. But I think when I did the first record, I was going, something still don't feel all the way together. Then I had the second album, which was a song called Half Crazy. Mm-hmm. Started getting traction and started getting, dates, offers for shows. And I think the first time that I realized and thought that I made it is after I got my first check. And I went and bought me a Nugget watch, a Nugget ring, and a Nugget bracelet, and the necklace. And y'all couldn't tell me nothing.
Y'all can't tell me nothing.
It was gold, all gold. So I was like,
it was all gold.
I'm in. Yeah. But it was a blessing, and I've been going ever since. But I never really failing was not an option, nor did it even enter my mind. And my brother was just telling me, he was like, "Yeah, that's why you made it." He says, "Think about the fact when I first started playing golf, I had no clue that you're not supposed to take a driver and hit a ball out of the fairway with a driver." They used to look at me and go, "How in God's name is he doing it?" Only until they told me, you can't. That's not what it's for.
You're not supposed to do
and
that.
all of a sudden, psychologically, I couldn't do it.
Yeah.
So it's a trip, man. Yeah.
So I'm gonna take you back to your days with New Edition, big time R&B group back in the day. You came in, you filled in because they lost a member, supposed to lose two, but you stepped in for one member. Mm-hmm. How did you find your place within the group? And how difficult was that?
You know, my dad was a minister, so I come from, I'm a PK, and the way I was raised, even being in this business doing this for as many years, 42 years of it, I've never been one that raised my hand or got to come in the room and be the center of attraction. A part of doing this, even joining this group, was really about the fact of something they asked me to do. But it was a blessing. And what I've learned more than anything, teamwork makes the dream work. And having and learning how to play and being a part of a team was something that brought balance to me. I knew when I signed with those guys that I still had an obligation to the record label as a solo artist.
Yeah.
So I never felt like, as an artist, where most artists feel like, I want to be out front, I'm the singer, I sing better than everybody and all. It was never that. I always felt like MJ. I always felt like I can get mines when I want to get mines. Let me make sure everybody gets theirs.
Get theirs.
And that was just my attitude about it. And that I never felt like, if you go back, look at all the pictures, you always see me standing in the back. They used to be fighting over who's getting in position, who's going to sing on which song. This is my part. None of that. It was when Jimmy Jam and Terry Lewis, when they started recording, and then when they came back, they left with 4 and came back with 5. And I remember Jimmy Jam and Terry Lewis having a meeting in the room because Ralph didn't know. And we got there in the meeting, and Terry said to me, he goes, well, you won't be probably doing any lead on the album. I said, okay. And I meant it. I was just like, okay, well, whatever is needed for me to do here, I'm here. And Terry said when he saw even that response, he was just like, phew, wow, okay. Because it never dawned on me. I never thought I'm coming in here and it's going to be my group and I need to be the lead singer. I was secure with the fact that as an artist, I will have an opportunity to express myself artistically as an artist, because I still had obligations to the label as a solo artist. So it's just wherever you need me, and whatever I need to fill in, where I need to play my position, that's what it was.
So that transition, because I know that New Edition was going through a transitional period when you joined the band, right, or joined the group.
Yeah.
But your voice was so mature, John. And I remember hearing a story that your audition was basically singing your name.
Yeah.
They said that was your audition, singing your name, and everybody was just like blown away. So during that transition period, and you kind of explained a little bit of it, of the group kind of going through some turmoil and things of that nature, and you just wanting to fit in. How was that for everybody else? Because it seemed to me, for you, it was pretty simple. But for everybody else, they seemed to be trying to, josh for different positions with the group at the time.
And truth of the matter is, I wasn't oblivious and stupid to the fact that you're coming in. Not everybody was that comfortable with you, because it's like going to a new school and you're just coming in and you're the new kid in the class. Yeah. And so I could only be me. And I've often say this. I say this to my friends all the time. If you don't give a flower water, it can't grow. Mm-hmm. So I never poured into the energy of whatever was going on with whoever, and however for those that might have felt a little insecure because of what I brought here with my talent, they never got a chance to, I never fed into it. So they never got a chance to be able to go, I don't like him because I just don't like the way he is. He's, It was just me being me, making sure everybody was cool. And I came in there from that way from day one. And continued to, we continued to bond. But the craziest thing was the person who didn't sanction it and didn't want it to happen, which was Ralph. That's where we actually started bonding during that time of after the blow up and after all the meetings that we had with all this stuff. We started the whole recording thing. I would go in with him and watch him, and then they want me to come in and do the background stuff, or I'll do the demo stuff or something, and somebody come in and do what I did vocally, or try to do what I do vocally. And me and him would just, after we would finish recording, we'd be going back, go to the hotel, and we'd be sitting and eating and just talking. And it's like we've been like that from that day to this day. This is my ride or die.
You guys created a bond because of something that was that synergy, basically.
And he was ready to leave. It's the thought process of that was no one understood the pressure that he felt that he had being the lead singer and having to do things and make decisions. If he didn't want to do it, it affects everybody. It was all of that stuff that was, and so talking to him and somebody finally understanding where he was and what was going on with him, it changed his mind. It did. That was what changed his mind and made him feel a lot more comfortable being in and fulfilling his obligations as the lead singer. He's always, still to this day, he's our lead singer and will always be.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm gonna take a different approach. So when Bobby Brown leads the group, you know, New Edition was massive at that time.
Yeah.
Did you feel any pressure that you had to live up to fans' expectations with Bobby Brown leaving?
I didn't know what they was going to what they were thinking. I didn't know what I was walking into or what to expect. All I knew is you could tell me you don't like the way I look. You could tell me you don't like the way I walk. You could tell me you don't like the way I talk. But it was never a question about that I had to second guess if you put this mic in front of me, what I do. Mm-hmm. And that was always my security blanket. That was always my saving grace of knowing, listen, I know I'm not walking into no building and have to listen to somebody boo you because they're going, I don't like your voice. Yeah. So I never, you know, even knowing every night and everything that I did with the guys that I had to prove myself, it was about doing it with that mic in front of me. And that's where I was always confident and secure with. So then you started hearing, have y'all heard the new guy? The new guy, yeah, the one that can sing, that can really sing. That's what it all started. And it started an era where everyone started singing, started listening to groups and going, they can't really sing. He can sing. He can't really sing. And it was like, that was how I came in the group and the reputation that I built where they was going, the new guy, the one that can sing.
Did that create any frictions with the other guys? Once that started going in that direction? Oh, the new guy can sing.
No. I think New Edition is such a unique group. Every individual has their own fans, and probably one of the only few groups that you know every individual.
Yeah.
And it has always been that way. So, of course, you know, there are nights where you would hear louder screams, and they would get louder and louder as we introduce ourselves. But, you know, it never impacted me or made me feel like, yeah, I'm the guy. It was just the fact that, you know, I often said, and because I'm a PK, but and how I was raised, I realized a long time ago, even back then, you know, when you get on that stage and they're yelling and screaming for you, when the next person come, they're gonna do the same thing. So I'm no better than or less than anybody. Yeah. And if you've taken it and deposited in that or processing it, that it means you're the man. You'll get a rude awakening because as soon as you jump up off that stage and somebody else come and open up the shirt and decide to pump and grind, you'll hear the scream and hear that building of fans going screaming. So I learned that a long time ago. It's just they appreciate what you do. Yeah. That's how they show the appreciation. But it don't make me any different, any better, or any less than. Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah.
So again, Johnny, you got all these memories with New Edition. Yeah. Good and bad. I'm sure because y'all had y'all fights, like you said. Any team or group that's been together for as long as you guys have, you're gonna have some issues, you know, with your brothers.
Yeah, and we have a true
at some
brotherhood.
point. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. At some point in time during the relationship, give me a moment with New Edition, good or bad, on or off the stage, that you remember like it was yesterday.
After the Heartbreak album was released, we did an in-store in Maryland, and I'm from D.C. Mm-hmm. We're in the van, we pull up, and it's thousands of fans waiting, and I mean, the place was insane. And we pulled up to do our in-store where we went to this particular store, and we were signing an autograph. And that's a moment that I looked around and went, shh. Jeez.
You know you said shit.
I did.
You said shit, boy.
Shit.
We the real deal in this joint.
I'm looking at all the options out there. And
my was asked a little bit early.
Oh, no, it's like a kid in the candy store, man. And God knows I exercise my options. Y'all gotta remember, we didn't have cameras and video cameras and stuff. So it was just like, man, I got one of the guys, Marvin McIntyre, who still, it's like one of my brothers. And they still tell the story. He still tells the story to everybody. Man, Johnny would bring one girl in, drop the other girl off. There would be another one coming from the airport, the other one coming, one's on the bus. I was just like, hey, listen, man. I mean, there's enough love to go around.
Yeah, that's definitely a defining moment.
Yeah, I take that one.
Yeah. All right, JG.
Jay, check it out. I got to talk a little bit about PrizePick.
Okay.
Our partners.
Yeah.
Okay. PrizePick.com, guys. This is some of the simplest things you could ever do. Okay. These are our partners. We love you guys. You guys have been watching and checking us out. We love the fact that you guys are feeling us, but you ain't feeling us enough. Yeah. Because I have asked you guys to go on PrizePick.com, and it's very simple. All you need to do, $5 lineup. That's it. Play a $5 lineup. You get $50 guaranteed. It is that simple. But obviously, it's not that simple because you're not doing it. I'm asking you guys to continue to support us. And these people, PrizePick.com, have been supporting us from day one. So we love them. Jay, tell them how simple it is, though.
I downloaded the app. I used the keyword B Scott while signing up.
Okay.
BSCOTT.
It's that simple.
You got to use the 2 T's.
Yes.
I made a $10 deposit. And then I did my first $5 lineup. And $50 popped up in the right-hand corner. That's how you get the $50.
That's simple.
It's that simple. PrizePick.com for all the details.
So again, guys, we don't understand what you're waiting on. Come on, get with the program. PrizePick.com, very simple. $5 lineup. You get a guaranteed $50. It is that simple. So join in and jump on PrizePick.com.
Keyword B Scott.
Yes.
So you talked about Heartbreak just right now. Much more mature sound than what we had at New Edition prior to you joining the group.
Yeah.
Did you have any say-so, any direction on what Heartbreak would be?
No, not at all. But my purpose, you got to think about my purpose for coming in the group was they were at a point, and this is, you give all credit to Michael Bivens, they were at a point where they felt like the music was still sounding a little dated because their audience was growing and they could see it physically with the audience growing. And his thought was, we got to grow with the audience. And his thought process was about me coming in the group and having that idea of coming in the group was because I sounded like a grown man. I was a little more mature voice. So he knew at some point and felt like in order for us to keep up and to keep the fans, that they would need a change. And that's what he saw in me as a vocalist and as a member. So he saw it when nobody else saw it, even though they might have rebelled against it. But the reality was, once it was talked out and ironed out, everybody got it and figured out, okay, makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm going to just talk about a few songs, man. Like My, you know. That song is a classic. Rub You the Right Way is a classic. And like I said, you had so many. And the other one that I love is the one that's with New Edition. You know, Can You Stand the Rain?
Yeah.
Man, I mean, in all three of those, two of yours, obviously, and then with the group of New Edition, when you came up and Can You Stand the Rain and started singing, that shit went to a different level.
Yeah.
Out of those three, and maybe you can't even answer this one because maybe it's something else. Which one is your favorite?
Surprisingly enough, I'm probably going to have to go with There You Go. There You Go.
Okay.
Was from the Boomerang soundtrack. It's one of my favorite songs still today to perform in live. And not to mention, it was probably the quickest song I ever recorded. I did that with Babyface, but I'll never forget trying to get to the club later on that night, and I was in Atlanta, and I was like, how does it go? Okay. And I did like maybe 2, 3, 4 takes, and it was done, over. And I was like, all right, thank you. And we was out. I was trying to get to the club.
So you didn't mess up no notes.
Oh, no. And I just and he just let me go. And I just sang it down, did some ad-libs on, by just letting, even in each song, each performance. And he was like, we good. I was like, we are? He's like, yeah. I was like, all right. I was like, that was quick.
I got to throw this in there because Jay mentioned this early in the show. You know, because we had our boy Sean Stockton on. We was talking about Boys and Men, right? And he was talking about messing up some notes and all that. And I said, man, I don't remember the note that y'all messed up because every note I had a stroke, And I don't mean a stroke like this either. You know what I mean? I don't mean that type of stroke. I don't mean that one, right? So I had a lot of strokes to my mind and rub you the right way. And there you go. And obviously, can you stay in the rain? So I just want to thank you for some of those songs that you laid out back in the day because I was having a good time as myself. I just want you to know.
Well, hell, I had to thank myself sometimes for helping me. Because I got to tell you, man, a story. This girl that she was well known that I was dating. I started dating and I could not figure out, there's some women you got to go, okay, this is not going to be no cakewalk. I've got to go through this whole, the whole spill and take them to dinner. You got to go through all this other stuff. And so I'm going, okay, and I had never, this was during, right after the Heartbreak album, but I had never listened to my music like messing with girls and thinking, okay, we're gonna connect with, and I'm gonna play my stuff. Never. One day I was coming home I had gotten home from the Soul Train Awards, and I knew I had my mind made up. I had the champagne bottle and the thing in the ice bucket, and sitting by the piano. And I'll never forget coming back, and she was with me and came back, and I said, this is going down one way or the other tonight. And I had played her because she didn't hear it. She hadn't heard My Mama yet. So I sat at the piano and I started playing the song that was going to be coming to My Mama. And we went from the piano to the floor, from the floor to the bedroom. And I went, God damn, it's just that easy? Shit.
Did she have a red dress on too?
She put on the red lipstick?
She had nothing on. Trust me. What was on came off.
I mean, he was just following the song lead.
Yeah.
Following the song lead.
I'm like, you dummy. Like, this is probably, I'm thinking all this time. And but the craziest thing is that was the first and probably the last time I even used any of my music as a weapon. But I was happy to do that one though.
Well, hey, Johnny, don't worry about it. I use your music as a weapon a lot, so it's all good.
So have I. I want to talk about your biggest song ever, My. I have used it to serenade my lady. And I can sing the song from front to back, including the my's at the end and every single point where the my comes in.
I just can't do the
Yeah,
that part.
I can do it all. Put on your red dress.
Yeah, I do the rest of it,
right?
though. That's right. Do the rest of it.
I want you to talk about that particular song, how it came to fruition, studio. How many times did it take for you to lay it down? Because that song is so deep, and I probably sang it 2,000 times in my lifetime when it comes onto the car. Actually, I do have a JG, Johnny Gill, setting in my car.
Wow.
Shit, I do too. And my phone. I mean, I can look, man. I got that all over the place.
I want you to talk about that song.
Believe it or not, that particular song, I wasn't that crazy about. Gerald Busby was the one that one thing I learned from the Boyz II Men song that I did with Jimmy and Terry was after they told me I wasn't going to sing any songs, and I was listening, when I would get on and sing some of this stuff, like I felt like I was kind of like a demo singer on like Can You Stand the Rain, and you hear some of the other parts where maybe Rick would come in and whatever I did, they would follow what I did vocally on it. So I'm like, well, what am I? I guess I'm the demo singer. But because Can You Stand in the Rain was a song that I looked at and I thought, well, why come I can't just sing the whole damn song at this point? I like that song and it's a good song and you put me on it. So, but Jimmy had another, had other motives and intentions, but I get it now. But I remember thinking when they decided towards the end we was going to record and they was like, okay, we're going to give him a song. And then I heard the track and I'm going, this is some bullshit. I'm like, all these goddamn songs they done wrote and done produced and did, and I've been doing, singing on in the backgrounds and that. They gonna give me this bullshit? So then that's when I got offended. And I said, oh, so y'all just want to fuck with me, huh?
Yeah.
My attitude was, I'm gonna fuck this song up just because. And I remember going to the booth and singing. And by the time I got through the first verse, I looked from the booth in the window, and you could see the whole crew, all the guys, Jimmy, Terry, everybody sitting in there, and they're just like this. I was singing angry because I hated the song, but I learned I'm always put your best foot forward.
Yeah.
Because you never know. And that song was called Boys to Men.
Yeah.
Now, mind you, the group that's called Boys to Men, that was inspired from
that
my song Boys to Men. So when I did My, I wasn't particularly cared for that song that much. And I'm just thinking, just do what you do, and that's just give it your best shot with it. What got me through it was I've never ever told anyone this, but what got me through that song, My was at the time I was in love with this girl that didn't even know I was really in love with her, and it was a thing where we were cool with each other, but I just never felt and thought that there was a time, a place, a space to even go there with it. So that song was actually inspired, actually, when I was singing, was to her. Yeah.
Do you want to mention who she is?
Oh, no, y'all would know her. Hell no.
We would know her. Hell no.
At this point, she might even want royalties on it. That was for me? Shit.
The statute of limitations already passed, brother.
Hey, obviously, she was...
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah, that was my next question.
Yeah,
so you don't want to say who she is, but did you get the girl?
Oh, absolutely. I told you that song was magical. Not
say,
only her, but this other girl that I was dating that I told you I played before. That was a different one that I played the song. And I kept saying,
the girl with the piano you playing.
I was like, tonight, this is going down one way or the other. And that's, I just realized, I was like, God damn, I done went through all this shit. That's...
Yeah, hey, I'm telling you, that my song, boy.
Yeah.
That,
and I'm going to be honest, like, R&B has changed since that era.
Oh, yeah.
Music has changed drastically, and I can't even remember a song that I have just thoroughly sang over and over and over and over again, have it preset, have it locked in my head, anything after My.
Well, you know, I often tell people this because when you're looking at music is a form of art. And I think that at the end of the day here, they often say that beauty is in the eye of the beholder. Mm-hmm. That painting that someone might like that I don't see anything in, someone else sees something different. So I never try, and I'm conscious of not listening to even music today and going, don't work for me, don't fit my taste, I think it's horrible. I just go, it's art. And that's probably not a painting that I would probably hang up in my house on my wall.
It's a good
but
way
I
of
still
looking
respect it as art.
Right.
Great analogy.
Yeah. But so, you know, and when I listen to, and I might be a little biased, but the 80s and the 90s era, it was just, for me, I don't see any other era that really compares to
the 90s.
That era for us.
That's the truth.
That's the truth. I'll be sure. We had the Bobby Browns. We had, the list goes on of just, it was just a time and place and space and era that you just, you know, for me, that when you listen to other music, that still, for me, just can't compare. But I still respect you know, the art.
Yeah. I mean, there's a bunch of Luther songs that I still can sing to this day. You know what I'm saying? They come on. Jeffrey Osborne.
Yeah, Jeffrey
Johnny
Osborne.
Gill. You know what I mean? But like you said, it's a different time, different era.
Yeah.
But I'll never forget the 80s and 90s music.
Yeah.
And to kind of jump on that, because you had, like we've talked about New Edition, we talked about your solo career.
Yeah.
We haven't talked about LSG.
Yeah.
You know, because you got the late, great Gerald Levert, who we know Eddie extremely well.
And
then you got Keith Sweat.
Yeah.
You know, you got another legend right there.
Yeah.
How was the chemistry with you guys coming together, forming a group?
Well, Keith wasn't down with the process of it at first.
Really?
That was Gerald. You know, Gerald, that was my partner in crime there.
Yeah.
And Keith wanted to do a group, but originally the idea was Keith, Gerald, and Rob, R. Kelly.
Okay.
And somewhere in there, Kelly fell out, but still Gerald wanted me to be a part of it. So it ended up with the three of us. But, and it wasn't really, Keith was just, it was, as Keith said, it was really Sylvia Rome. He said that she was against this whole idea of him doing it because he had just come off of a hugely successful album. And she's thinking, probably like any executive, we need him to get back in there and get us another one.
Yeah, right.
You know, this was like, why are you doing this? You don't need this right now. So he said he had to fight tooth and nails with her because, you know, she had, you know, wanted him to go back in to get prepared for another album. So, but the whole group thing was something he wanted to try and experience. And boy, him and Gerald used to go at it. They used to go toe to toe. It was the most entertaining thing that I've ever seen in my life. I used to be sitting there just looking at them going, your turn, your turn, your turn. And then the next 10 minutes, 5 or 10 minutes, we're all sitting around drinking after they've been yelling and screaming at each other. See, man, there you go with that selfish. Yeah, he's a selfish motherfucker, man. You can't, man, you in a fucking group. You want to be in a group? This is how it goes. Yeah, man, you can't talk to me like that. You understand what I'm saying? You ain't gonna be talking to me like that. I'm a grown man like you is. And I used to be sitting there just laughing. We're just like brothers. I mean,
right.
1 minute screaming and yelling. Next minute we sitting there laughing, talking and drinking and talking about what we getting ready to do next. It was entertaining.
So you went, let me see if I can set this up properly. You did an album, Stacey Lattisaw.
Yeah,
she was very instrumental in your career, right?
Album. Yeah.
And then you went to the group with New Edition. Then you had solo, you know, your first album, 90-91, you know, with My, Rub You the Right Way. I mean, you won awards with that album, one of the best R&B albums of all time. What made you get back in a group with the LSG?
Because these were my brothers, my friends. And,
Gotcha.
you know, one thing that I learned years ago is, you know, to never allow yourself to be a one-trick pony and to never get, you know, cornered to where people look at you and you're only going to be a balladeer. Mm-hmm. Here's a tribute that people don't know. My is not my biggest record in my career. Rub You the Right Way. Mm-hmm. Mm. And My is my signature song. If you say Johnny Gill, you think My.
Yeah.
Now, where we could be today, My might have at this point surpassed Rub You, but Rub You have always been, you know, my biggest record in my career.
Well, they won A and won B.
Yeah, you know,
as far as I'm concerned, right?
Yeah. But you know, learning that understanding that, you know, you never allow yourself, and that's why I went and would be open to working with other artists, trying different things. And Ralph said it best. Ralph Tresman, he's always said, Johnny's a chameleon. You'll see him doing one thing, the next minute he's over here doing this, and he's this, and it's because I made a conscious effort to just not be doubt or be pigeonholed or put into one category. It's like you don't know what I'm going to do next. Yeah,
I love that.
Well, you definitely are very, very talented in doing a number of different things. Yeah. I want to ask you about today's artist. If there is an artist that you did a collaboration with, who would that artist be in today's world? But before you answer that, was you hitting Stacey? I mean, was y'all I'm just... Hey, man, I want to know.
He done forgot about the notes and went straight to the strokes.
Well, that one I can answer because that's no secret. It was, I was dating her before. Yeah. Listen, first of all, I was a Mac and I was on my A game and I was standing up on my pimping back. Even before I had recorded my album, we were dating. So, and she was back then the hottest
she was.
girl that everybody was trying to get. Yeah. But you know, I was standing up on my pimping back then too.
I just wanted to make sure everybody knew because I thought I was like, I'm pretty sure. I said, I know Johnny. I done been around him. I know Johnny. And there was always talks. Nah, they was just I was like, man, I'm gonna ask him.
No, we were.
I said, I know Johnny was
we were together doing the whole duet album when we recorded that. Yeah, absolutely, we were together, and that was, you know, we were just kids, but I was figuring it out. But yeah,
we was kids playing the beat like we was adults. We go, I'm hitting that. Yeah, okay. Hey Jay, you know I knew, but I just wanted to make sure because I know you. I was just wanting to make sure. Now
he's already forgot about the question.
Yeah, I'm about to say. So that's what I'm saying. Kid Jay, that's what I'm saying. So let me go back to that question now. Today's artists, if you were to collab with one of these artists today, who would it be?
Well, there's quite a few from a Neo to Wow, the Mary J.
Oh, that would be tight.
Oh, that'd be amazing.
Jasmine Sullivan, to Frank Ocean, to Maxwell, who's my good buddy. That's that's my dude.
Yeah.
He's just a great dude. And the list goes on. I love music. I'm a musician. It's so funny because when we played Yamava just recently, I took the Sprinter, and for some reason, because I don't normally get on my guitar that often, took my guitar, and I had a whole van full of friends, and they're all sitting there looking at me playing guitar and go, how come you don't do this in concert? Like, I didn't know you play like this. And it's just something that I started out, my first instrument was guitar. So, and so I love music. I'm inspired from a note to a song to something we're talking about that just inspires me as a musician. And so I'm always, and I appreciate the art, period. So
a lot of that.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Looking at your career, what do you want Johnny Gill's legacy to be?
To never end. Shit. You don't even know the truth about it.
Jay's got to end one of these days.
I know. I just
no, not necessarily, right?
I think everyone, we don't do this to just do it because I love it and it's a passion of mine, but you don't want your work to go unnoticed. You want people to, what you do to have such a level of impact that at some point it allows and open the door and inspires another generation of artists and people to come along that says that, I'm doing this because of, what Johnny Gill did and how I was inspired by Johnny. That's for all of us. I think we want to make sure that our work is not in vain and that it goes down and get acknowledged. I still haven't won a Grammy. I was acknowledged. I was up for a Grammy, but I was at one point so driven to try to get a Grammy that one day it just dawned on me and it hit me in the head. And I'm like, okay, you're striving, fighting to get a Grammy, but there are many that has gotten Grammys that can't fill an arena, can't sell out an arena, but they got a Grammy that's sitting on the shelf that's collecting dust. Same in you guys' field of basketball. Think about all of the players, the kind of money that they make. The one thing that they all are fighting and focusing in on every year is a ring.
It's a title.
And it's like, if you put it in perspective, you motherfuckers can go and buy one, right? And maybe even make your own. But we're sitting here and we're focused on trying to get a ring that you can buy and make it, or you can custom for yourself. And you realize at the end of the day here, man, that with all of those things, which is great because it's just that it reminds you of what you've accomplished more importantly. And I get that. But more importantly, man, it's like when you look at it and understand that you were able to make a living to feed your family, take care and have a life that most people will never, ever, ever have an opportunity to do. That's when it puts things back in perspective. Work, set goals. Absolutely. You should be trying to get to the top, but it's just that you can't look at it because I can't look at myself and figure that my career didn't come full or circle or I didn't accomplish everything because if I was to leave off and never receive a Grammy. I've done the damn thing. And at the end of the day, my fans have proven that. My life, my bank account, everything has said, you did all right.
It's not going to define you.
Right. I actually have to say something about that. The Grammys back in the 90s, 80s, and 90s just really didn't look out for that type of music, that R&B type of music at that particular moment in time.
Yeah.
I guarantee you, if it was today, and you did Rub You the Right Way and My that came out in today's era within the last 10 years, you would have won Grammys over and over again.
Yeah. And the one Grammy that I was up against Luther. And I'll never forget, it was my album and it's the Here and Now album. And, you know, Lou, that was my road dog there. And I remember I said that was his first Grammy too, because he had been up several times and never won. So I remember we were in New York, and I remember him winning the Grammy. And I said if there was anybody that I wouldn't mind losing to, it would be Lou.
Yeah.
So Lou used to have the movie nights at his house when he had the house in Beverly Hills. And it would be the who's who, everybody. He had this trophy case where he had all the Grammys, and he had the one that he beat me with. So every time I'd go over there, I would go, give me my goddamn Grammy. And he yelled, security! But, you know, that was my road dog. When he was recording songs, and he would play them for me, some of the songs, and he goes, so what do you think? I go, I think it sucks. Probably should give that to me.
That's great.
He was one of the ones. And when I look at people like Stevie, those are guys, I been knowing him, since I was 18, 19, 20 years of age. And people ask me, what is my greatest rewards in this business and the things that I've accomplished? It's those people like him that I grew up idolizing, and to look today, and that's my family. That's my brother. That's like my real, you know, and you go, sometimes it's still, I mean, Steve and I we go at it always nonstop. Some things y'all probably might be too much for the ears, but we go toe to toe.
Yeah.
And it's so funny because still sometimes, even to this day, years later, it's like I'll look, I'm you know, you jump off the phone and we just got finished talking and saying something stupid to each other, and you go, shit, it's fucking Stevie.
Mm-hmm.
And those are things that I value probably more than anything a trophy could ever do for me. Having and building the type of relationships with all of those people that have been there and that are like my family that I've gained over the years of being in this business, doing what I do, I value more than a trophy can ever and could never take the place of.
Yeah, I hear you, John.
Yeah.
Look, there are certain voices in this industry that you know. When you hear them, you know who it is right away.
Yeah.
Luther being one.
Yep.
Jeffrey Osborne
Jeffrey,
being
that's
another
my
one.
other guy.
Stevie Wonder being another one.
Yeah.
Johnny Gill being another one. We've been able to have relationships with, you know, all you. I don't have a relationship with Stevie, and obviously Luther's not here with us anymore.
Yeah.
But it's amazing when that song comes on, you be like, I know who that is right away.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So we're sitting here with one of the greatest voices of our time, in Johnny Gill.
Thank you.
What is Johnny Gill's top 5 songs of all time that you have sung?
Did I have
It
some?
could be solo or artist.
Solo or
in a
with New
group.
Edition. Yeah. Or with LSG.
Yeah.
Just your top 5. I think we probably mentioned 2 or 3 of them already.
Yeah, we got There You Go.
Yep.
We got Can You Stand the Rain? Wow. I'd have to go to My Body. My Body with LSG.
Mm-hmm.
Really simple because it's Gerald having and being able to have that opportunity to work with all of work with him and Sweat. We have there's a song called Let's Get the Mood Right off of the Let's Get the Mood Right album that will always be one of my favorite songs. But there's Fair With a Friend, there's Giving My All to You.
But you mentioned 4, but then you just mentioned those 2, which is 6.
Yeah.
Oh,
So and you still ain't mentioned My, which we already know.
And and we got to go My. How do you get?
He said he didn't like it when he first
I know,
got it, though.
but
But he gave it his all.
But he liked
and
the
it
check.
became
He liked the check. He said that earlier. He liked the check.
Yeah.
That got me over the top.
He said that is his signature song now. See? I love that.
There's so
love that.
many. I mean,
Oh yeah, I know it's hard
yeah.
when we say 5 because you got so many to kind of signal out just 5 of them.
Yeah.
We would have to start going double-digit numbers, you know, for you to just continue to go with that list that you got.
Is there a dream project, whether it's music, acting, something else that you want to accomplish in your life?
Yeah, I'm 58, but I damn sure wish I wanted to box for a living. And
Boxing.
yeah,
Really?
And if I could just not get in the ring now and box anymore, but even just walking to the ring probably would be just maybe satisfy that. Because I thought I was going to be a boxer. I grew up, in D.C. and used to, hang around Sugar Ray Leonard. So watching him doing that, and I really honestly thought at one point it was an electrical engineer or boxer.
Wow.
But I'll never forget when we used to box, because when I tell you hands and speed was my life story. We used to have a whole crew of us in the neighborhood. We would go down to the laundromat in this building, and we used to put on the gloves, and everybody's fighting boxing. And then after it's over, we all go to the store, sit around and talk about who got popped, who got the best of who. And nobody wanted to call me out. It was always when somebody called me out, and I got a little cocky and arrogant to believe and then thinking it's like shit. Because my thought process was like, I whip all your asses. But I'll never forget one time we in there fighting. I'm fighting boxing one of these my neighborhood friends, and I got a little arrogant, cocky, and that motherfucker caught me on that chin one time. And he caught me on the chin, didn't daze me, but it just didn't feel good. And I'll never forget thinking, I'll take the mic.
Yeah. So that'll have you change real quick. Huh?
Oh, man.
Let me use this voice.
Let me use this unbelievable God-given voice that I have to make some money.
Yeah. I'm a huge boxing fan. I
love boxing too. I love boxing. Yeah. So, Jay, what's next? I mean, you've done so much in this industry. We know you have some other things in the works.
Yeah.
But what's next for Johnny Gill?
We got a tour coming soon.
And that's the New Edition tour.
New Edition.
Okay.
That's on the horizon. We're still working on it, but just stay tuned, because at some point you'll hear about it. But the tour of all tours,
and
I'm
that's
going to show you.
2025.
2025, sometime this year. So stay tuned.
Okay.
We just finished up a full year, all sold out shows in Las Vegas at the Wynn. That was an amazing accomplishment.
Yeah, Kid Jay couldn't get no damn tickets.
I tried to get tickets. I couldn't even get in. Well, you know what? I'm going to get your number today.
I was going to say, it ain't what you know, it's who you know.
Yeah. Well, I know Johnny Gill. JG, I'm in the next one. Guarantee that.
Yeah. So it was just, man, when you look at these things, and that spoiled us, because when you can go downstairs, go back upstairs, go to work, you're not going from city to city to city to city doing that. It's just a dream. It was just like, man, we could do this for another couple of years.
Man, I love that.
Yeah,
so I want to talk about the tour just for a hot second, because New Edition, there's six of you guys.
Yeah.
So, at some point during the tour, I mean, you don't have to give everything away, but do you guys break up into the four technically different elements? Because you went solo, Bobby Brown went solo, Ralph Tresvant went solo, and then you got BBD plus New Edition. That's 4 different entities.
Yeah. And we always definitely insert that into the show. It's always inserted where somewhere you're going to see some of the solo stuff as well as the group stuff. But listen, if we were to do my catalog, Bobby's catalog, BBD's catalog,
you could do it.
Ralph's catalog, and New Edition catalog, you probably want to bring a blanket and a pillow. And a change of clothes. Because it'll be a long night.
I mean, change of clothes for some other reasons, but
you're right.
All right, Johnny. Before we go off to a whole different atmosphere.
We grown here. Can we talk this grown stuff?
Is there any way before we get you up out of here, you can serenade our fans, either Rub You the Right Way, My. That's your camera right there. Is there any way you can give us a little something?
Let me see. I'm trying to think of which girl I might be trying to get with.
Whatever get you in the mood.
That's my dog right there.
Put on your red dress and slip on your high heels and some of that sweet perfume. It sure smells good on you. And then we'll skip through that main course to get to the, you got me saying, my. You sure look good tonight. Yeah, come on with Big Daddy. Yeah.
Johnny Gill, ladies and gentlemen, Johnny Gill.
Johnny Gill is in the building. Man, thank you very much.
And Byron, I'm going to need you to do me a favor and represent me on this sports side of stuff every time. I'm getting so annoyed with hearing everybody keep throwing around the who's the best, who's the greatest, and all this other stuff. Byron, can you just please tell them for me? Just let everybody know. It's unfair to talk about who's the greatest when you got these different eras.
Yes.
Because if I can shoot freely now when I couldn't back then, and you can make up the same points that I made up, but I had to go and get busted and knocked on my ass, and I had to get busted in the head and all the other shit, but I can sit here and now compare and talk about who's the greatest and you're the greatest. It's like, hey, stop it now. That's unfair.
Yeah, Johnny, I mean, that GOAT conversation is always crazy because, like you said, you got so many different eras.
Yeah.
But we got one guy that we feel is one of the GOATs as well. That we know very well, you and I, Kobe Bean Bryant.
Kobe,
I know you got a Kobe Bean Bryant story for us.
I remember when Kobe first got here to LA, we invited him to a party. We threw Janet Jackson a surprise birthday party. And I remember him coming in, and he was like just this real cool, laid back, innocent kid that's just kind of looking around, and everything was like it was like this all brand new, a new world to him. And the craziest thing is just after watching him over a period of time and watching this killer, and you look back and I'm going, but this was that little kid that was so cool, nice, and soft spoken, and he was just like everything was like wow. And I said, wow, we had an opportunity to meet him and expose him, hopefully not to too much of the world, but we exposed him to enough. I mean, at that time it was, we were still adults. But he was always, and every time I would see him, I mean, watching him and then looking at how he developed, how he matured, and the things that he taught me, taught all of us. That's why you can learn from anybody. Just the fact that what he did, how he became and grew into one of the greats. And I don't care what nobody says, I'll stand 10 toes down on it. So, and for our era. So, it's a lesson learned to watch, understand that when you're determined, focused, and when you understand and know your purpose, can't nobody take that away. I'll never forget that one year when he shot that air ball, and you think, okay, at some point, his confidence going to be shattered, and he probably just going to figure out how to, but he came back bigger, better, and than ever. And that's like a lesson to be learned for all of us.
Mama mentality.
Man, miss him dearly, watching how he just evolved and even trying to help and putting his hands in with the Women League as well as his daughter, and becoming such a great dad and all of the above, just watching it and him evolve in front of our eyes. He will always be one of the greatest to me. So
even MJ said it. It's unfair to say who's the greatest of all times when he didn't play against certain people in their era. But you can definitely go by an era. Yeah, who's the greatest from 80 to 89,
right.
Who's the greatest from 90 to, you can definitely do that.
Yeah, there was Dr. J at one point before there was MJ.
Yeah,
so how do you sit here and we talk about the generation, about the eras?
It's hard to say who's the greatest ever because of, like you said, the times have changed, basketball has changed.
The game has changed.
The game has changed.
Yeah. I would be the greatest boxer ever to live if I could go in the ring and box and they don't hit me back and I could just knock them out. Ali wouldn't have shit on me.
But we're going to jump on this real quick on our way out. Yeah.
Oh. Did I meant to give him my all to you? I forgot about giving my all.
I don't know if you did, but I didn't forget about it. Just so y'all know, I didn't forget about it. And there we go again. That's my boy. That's Johnny Gill.
Yes.
Thank you, my brother. Thank you for coming. Yes. I'm going to play that all the way on the way out.
Thank you for watching Byron Scott's Fast Break. If you like what you saw, here's some more videos. And while you're at it, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe.